Super cool radio.
Hello, everyone. I am Matthew Thomas. This is Super Cool Radio. Have a great show lined up. My guest this time recently released a killer new single entitled Silhouettes. Please welcome Dear Desolate.
That's good.
Thank you guys for hanging out with me. Got a great show lined up. I really look forward to chatting with you guys.
Yeah, likewise.
Yeah, same.
And a big thank you to Jody for obviously making the introduction, setting up this interview. She does a lot for a bunch of great bands. So big shout out to her before we dive into everything.
Yeah, Jody, I've met her out on the road, and Jody's, she's a real one for sure. So thank you, Jody.
For sure. She does a lot, and she's always willing to help bands, and she's just really great to chat with too.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Before we really jump into everything, we got a lot to discuss, obviously, with the new single that was recently released. But before we do that, so what are some of your most memorable concerts that you've either been to or been a part of?
That's actually a good question.
Thank you.
A lot of these festivals that I've been seeing while being out on tour and stuff are super memorable because you get to see, so many great bands in one day. And so that's obviously something that sticks out for me. As far as shows we've played, I mean, all of them kind of have their own little like fun memory attached to them. But I think that probably a little bit more back in the day of our career was playing the House of Blues. That was super fun. We opened up for Memphis Mayfire and For Today, I believe. And at the time, both of those bands were crushing. Not that Memphis Mayfire still isn't, but yeah, that was definitely a great one that I hold pretty close. So
Sure. Shows that I haven't played that are memorable. Seeing Deftones outside, and it was like downpouring the entire time. They played their whole set, of course. I was just soaked, and then it was like a 3-hour car ride, just sopping wet. The other two that I would have is probably like Metallica, seeing them on the Hardwired tour, and then seeing like Roger Waters doing like The Wall. It was pretty intense stuff. So
That sounds pretty dope, actually.
yeah, honestly, both all three of those concerts were amazing.
Yeah, I would say for me, I saw Ice Nine Kills at the House of Blues in Chicago, and that was an insane set because like I wasn't like super familiar with them like going into the show.
He looks so happy though.
Yes, he does.
He looks so happy.
So I lost power if anyone didn't notice, but
It's our show now. We ask the questions.
Oh, okay. Oh, sure. Yeah, go for it. I don't.
No. You came prepared.
A little bit. I came a little bit prepared. All right. So sorry, I got cut off. So yeah, I saw Ice Nine Kills at the House of Blues in Chicago. They put on an insane set, and as I said, I was not very familiar with them, but I definitely left a fan that day, just of the intensity and just the insanity they bring.
Yeah, they're such a unique act because, most of their songs are rooted in the world of like old school horror movies, right? So for like those of us that grew up like watching those and falling in love with them, like it's cool that they've got a song out there for you and your favorite slasher film or whatever growing up. So they're a very unique act in that way, in my opinion. So it's sick that you got to see them, and what they do live is even cooler. So
Yeah, then don't they have like quite a bit of like theatric type thing? They kind of like have props and stuff that they bring out. That's really cool.
Yeah, when I saw them, I think it was right after they released the first Horrorwood, that album, and they were all dressed up as like different horror characters, horror movie characters.
Yeah, like icons and stuff like that. I think
Yeah, it was.
Horace was like Jason or something like that, and yeah. That's cool.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah, and the lead singer was he was Freddy, and he had like a partial mask, and obviously the hands, the claws, and that was cool. And one of my favorite moments was that he was standing in the crowd, and the crowd was like holding him up, and he was singing, and it was incredible.
Yeah, those moments are always sick, where you just see like music like take over. You know what I mean? Like it's not even like you've exited the realm. You know what I mean? And now you're somewhere else. You know, that's always the best.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's really an escape, and that's why like I love going to concerts, because obviously you meet awesome people who love the same music as you, and obviously you get to experience the music. Like it is cool, like listening to the studio stuff, but it's also a different experience to actually see it live.
Yeah, for sure.
So focus on you guys. I apologize, I forgot to introduce you guys. We got Brandon on guitar, Jody on bass. Thank you for hanging out and making up Dear Desolate for this interview. So before Dear Desolate, how did you guys get started as musicians?
Oh man, I think for both of us, honestly, it goes quite a ways back. I know that like I haven't lived in North Carolina my whole life, and neither has Brandon. So I know that we both grew up doing different musical things, like throughout, like I'd say, like late middle school and then into high school and stuff like that. And our band coming together was actually kind of like a conglomerate of like bands that we were in separately that ended up like playing shows together, and we all kind of became friends in the area and everything. We had a local venue that everybody praised. And so, yeah, I mean, for me, it goes quite a ways back. I actually started, my first instrument was drums, and I did that in like late middle school. And it was like As I Lay Dying and Kill Switch and stuff that, like got into my head. I was like, I just want to play fast like that, But yeah, it goes quite a ways back for me personally, and I know it does for Brandon too.
Yeah. I just moved here to North Carolina when I started playing, and I met like a couple friends and stuff like that, and they're kind of convincing me to play an instrument. And originally it was going to be trumpet for a ska band.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. And I decided that wasn't very cool. So, plus, I don't have the best of lungs on me, so playing trumpets just wasn't gonna be the thing. So
it's like the most asthmatic cat that I know, like in my whole life. Like he's allergic to fucking almost everything.
Yeah. So anyway, I naturally gravitated towards guitar. My dad, huge supporter of like rock music and like Rush, Ted Nugent, and all kinds of other stuff like that. But I picked up a magazine of Guitar World, like Guitar World magazine, and there was a Kill Switch song in there, and I had no way of like listening to that style of music at the time, but I learned the riffs, and that's kind of just how my appreciation for metal and rock music was kind of born, was just playing the tabs out of the magazines and stuff like that. Finally hearing them, I'm like, I'm playing this way too slow, but that's how I came up.
And I think you got more longevity out of playing guitar than playing trumpet for a band.
100%. Yeah.
If I would have met Brandon as a, what is it, like a trumpeter?
Yeah.
I don't know that our forces would have joined in the same way that they have today. Yeah, I would have been like, Brandon's a cool guy, but man, trumpet, that's fucking weird.
That's not gonna work out for what I got.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was only you might have looked cool in like the mid '90s, like you have like a checkered suit and stuff.
Yeah.
It might have been cool for a year.
Yeah. I still listen to some ska music.
Yeah, we both, like have like a late night writing session or something, and then go out and listening to Almighty Boss Tones.
Yeah, Mighty Boss Tones.
Or like Jimmy's Chicken
Fish.
Shack, Real Big Fish, stuff like that. So it definitely that kind of music like peppers its way in because it's really punk with like horns and stuff, So it's
the
like
the soundtrack to middle schoolers getting mozzarella.
Exactly. Yeah. And like, so it's that got peppered in. I mean, if you've ever played any Tony Hawk Pro Skater, you're automatically in line with like 5 really fast and angry ska songs. So yeah.
Oh, definitely. I grew up playing like pretty much every Tony Hawk game, but like Superman by Goldfinger was like Tony Hawk wrapped up in one song.
Yeah. That was it's funny because like I listened to those songs playing those video games as a kid, and then now like I go to like learn the bass line or something from it, and I'm like, holy shit, dude, this is hard.
Yeah,
like
bass and ska.
Yeah, bass and drums and ska, man, they're professional athletes. Like it's crazy.
Yeah, you don't really like equivalent like how hard it actually is to play like ska music like that because the people who did it played it off so easily. Then you actually look at it and you go, oh man, it's a lot harder than what I thought.
Yeah, well, not only that, like I was only focused on like doing the 900 over and over again when I was playing Tony Hawk as a kid. So the music was just there like egging me on, Sure. I go back and listen to them now and I'm like, these songs are fucking crazy.
Honestly, all the Tony Hawk soundtracks were fire. They seriously were like all of like the best music from like currently going on in that year, but also like they from like Dead Kennedys, Johnny Cash, The Doors, all that great stuff as the soundtracks progressed.
Yeah.
It was some good music.
I remember one of the later ones, like I think it was called American Wasteland, and that one had like a bunch of like modern artists that were like covering older songs. Like I think it was like Thrice, My Chemical Romance, The Bled, like all these like at the time they were really big and doing their thing, and they all covered like old like Dead Kennedys songs and Sex Pistols and shit like you're talking about. And I always thought that was really sick that they like, even as the game started getting like less and less popular, like they still kept up with like stayed true to making sure that their music was always just like top notch, But shout out to Tony Hawk for sure. He's the GOAT.
Definitely. Yeah, but I grew up playing, like, people asked me if I played any other video games, and I was like, it was mostly Tony Hawk growing up. That's like all I needed.
Yeah. I can agree with that. That and like Grand Theft Auto when my mom wasn't home. But yeah.
Yeah, I just started playing San Andreas last week. I was like, I got nothing to do today. I might as well play some Grand Theft Auto.
You on that CJ life right now. Yeah.
Dude, for sure. Especially I forgot all the cheat codes, so I'd like look them up again and I could do all this stuff.
Yeah. Spawn tanks in the middle of the road and shit.
Exactly. It was awesome. And, like playing those video games really exposed me to a lot of different music. That's why I love the Dead Kennedys because of listening to Tony Hawk. So it's always cool especially like using like actual licensed music compared to like just like generic music that I know quite a few games are doing now. But back then it was awesome.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So for you guys, I know we took a nice sidebar talking about video games, which is awesome. I love it. So, how did you guys meet and actually decide like, hey, we should make music together?
I guess kind of like I said earlier, like we were both in bands, I guess in like go ahead. Probably like 2012, 2013, that time period. Both in bands that had other members that were kind of just like, I don't want to do this anymore type thing. And me, Brandon, and the original guitar player of Dear Desolate, his name's Tyler. The three of us had been friends for a good long while through music, for probably going over like a decade of just like going to shows together, playing shows together, all of that. And when the two bands kind of started like falling apart, one formed, and that's kind of what we are now, through other member changes and stuff like that along the way, obviously. But I guess really at the end of the day, not to toot our own horn, but Brandon and myself really are the original and founding members of this band. Everybody else is someone that recruited later, and they're just as important, I don't mean anything like that, but we've been doing this shit the longest, for sure.
Yeah.
Together, that is,
Yeah, that's really awesome. And that's kind of, I want to segue to the brand new single that was just released at the end of January, entitled Silhouettes. I featured it on my show before. I love it. It is, it's really awesome. I don't really exactly know how to describe it. You really just have to listen to it. But how was it writing and recording Silhouettes?
Jesus Christ. So we'll just go ahead and get this out of the way now. Silhouettes is a geezer.
Yeah, it's a bit old
in our catalog.
Yeah,
that song has been around for a good while, to the point where the original recording of it actually features our old vocalist as like the main singer. It was redone with Jimmy. And personally, I think we sat on it because we weren't sure if it was still a Dear Desolate song or not. We kind of, back in the day, we were a lot heavier. We had a different goal in mind. And Silhouettes was kind of like a mixture of that and where we're going. And I think at the end of the day, that's why we decided to just put it out and still let it be a part of us, because it's like, it's a good representation of where we've been and where we're headed. You know what I mean? But definitely probably some of the heavier you're going to get out of us for a little while. Not that, we like hype songs, but that one definitely throws back to a style that we were trying to achieve a couple of years ago. You know? But as far as writing it, I mean, it kind of like all of our other songs, it just started with a riff. Brandon, I believe, was original thought of this guy right here, kind of the main theme riff of the song, the real, that whole thing. That was a original Brandon. And then the more that other members started poking around and messing with it, finally got taken to our producer, and now it is what it is now, So, but I'm glad you like it. I do too. It's just an old ass song.
And it's kind of fun. I've talked to other people who've it was a new single, but it was written years ago, and it was different. And so kind of like, what's for you guys? What kind of eventually made it we should release this and let it be out and part of our catalog?
Well, it checked a lot of boxes. It still fits in with what we're trying to do. So I think that, that was kind of most of it. We needed to release something. We've got a lot of material coming through the pipeline, but we want to clear the slate, basically. I
think we were worried that, like you said, clearing the slate is such a good term, because we have so much old music with our old singer. It's heavier, it's a different style. It doesn't, again, represent what we're trying to do now. But Silhouettes somehow kind of fell in the crevice and just stayed there. It was one of those songs where you'd come back and listen to it a couple months later and be like, man, this song, it does still kick ass. It's just not what we want to be doing, and I think that ultimately it came down to we want to put out a song, we want to keep releasing music as frequently as we can, and this one is it's just begging to get out there, you know, after all the time spent like sitting on it, waiting, being afraid, being confident, whatever, like the back and forth. I think it just came down to like, yo, like, let's just get it the fuck out there and
see what happens.
Yeah, see what happens, you know. Throw it at the wall. If it sticks, it sticks. If it falls down, then, you know, we got more. It's no problem. You know.
Yeah, I honestly wasn't expecting it to be as heavy as it was. So that's why I was like really, I was like listening to it. I was like, man, I'm really digging this. It's not what I was expecting.
Yeah, it takes a real hard turn, like midway or so, maybe like 3/4 or something like that.
Yeah.
That's kind of a throwback to older material as well, but
I think at the same time it shows, you know, like we could still go hard.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Like we might choose not to in some of the other material we've released just because we're exploring ourselves as musicians, which if you don't encourage that, then you're not a real artist, in my opinion. But at the same time, like, you know, we started as a heavy band and we should always be able to like wink back to that area if we want to, you know.
Yeah.
Not saying we got to start putting out songs that sound like Spite or, you know, Alpha Wolf or anything like that, but we could definitely always kind of, like I said before, remember where we came from and focus on where we're going. You know, that's kind of what Silhouettes is to me as a whole. Like, this is where you've been, this is where you're going, and this is a song that kind of shows it all off, you know?
Oh yeah, definitely. And you know, you guys can go hard when you want to, and you know, if the song calls for it. I think that's definitely what Silhouettes is, and I just love it. It's weird. It's got that just that intensity, catchiness, and just a sick guitar riff all in one song.
I appreciate that, man. We all do. I think I'll tell you this: if you were to listen to it pre-Jimmy, you might feel a little differently. The song definitely went through some changes to become what it is now and kind of suit our new leader, you know, frontman, so to speak. But yeah, I'm happy it's out. It seems like people like it, and Jimmy's gonna have to get a big boy chest to do it live. So
can't wait to hear it live too, because I know it's gonna be sick.
Nah, appreciate that, man. It'll be sick to play live one day again.
for sure.
Well, hopefully everything works out. You guys can, because I think it would be a really good show.
Yeah, we it's been a minute, you know. COVID fucked a lot of things up for every musician, including ourselves, you know, and we, you know, especially losing a singer, getting a new one, trying to kind of put our name back on the map in a different font, you know what I mean? It's been a slow rise for sure, but I think all of us are kind of getting to the point now where we're like, fuck it, it's time to like go do what we like to do, you know?
Yeah.
I think we're all kind of getting that itch that can only be scratched by the smell of a venue and gear rolling around and, you know, just all the shit that you see at a show, foul beer smell and all that, you know.
For sure. Hope you guys get there soon and safely and all that stuff. And yeah, definitely look forward to seeing you guys live. I know you guys can throw down for sure. But yeah, with COVID and everything, I know it kind of put a wrench into a lot of things. Obviously, there's a lot of change happened in the last 2+ years now. But I think stuff's starting to get some traction. I think stuff's starting to move and starting to open up.
Yeah, it's looking better for sure. You know, even just the small things, you know, the fact that there's been a couple festivals that have happened in the past year or so, bands have been able to tour and stuff. And even though it's a very frustrating world out there when you're touring and trying to deal with all these restrictions and everything to make sure the shows are safe and, you know, everything like that, it's a huge pain in the ass, but it's cool that it's happening.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Exactly. I saw one band post that actually made it through a tour and they didn't have to cancel any shows. Nobody got sick, and they said like after like 2020, it's a hard goal to have, an expectation to have. Unfortunately, with everything that to actually make it through a tour now.
Yeah, it's See, after seeing it firsthand, I touring with another band that a couple of our other members tour with, a band called From Ashes to New. We being out on the road with them and seeing the things that this band does and has to go through just to make sure we make it to the next stop. It's insane. Honestly, it is. And, shout out to them for always pushing through as hard as they possibly can. But yeah, it's, the touring world and just the music world right now is a fucking mess, so
It'll get back there.
it will.
Yeah,
It will.
it'll be fun.
And, sometimes the mess is fun. Some people like myself live for the madness, but it gets exhausting too. So
Yeah, definitely. Some people thrive in it, and after a while, sometimes it does get exhausting for just everything you have to do, all the protocols and everything you have to do, because it's completely different and sudden change. Now, you used to do stuff one way, but now you have to do different protocols, rules, and all that stuff.
I mean, you end up dissecting everything you do. Like, I thought about it today to do this interview. I was like, do I need to wear a mask just sitting next to Brandon, someone I see every fucking day? Is it going to be weird to people if I'm not masked up, even though, we're both vaccinated, clearly not sick, whatever. It's just little shit. I have to think about so much more now because of all these fucked up problems caused by COVID,
Yeah, it is all little things. You have to remember, if you go somewhere to have a mask, and some people they walk, they try to walk in without a mask and they have to walk back to their car just to get a mask to walk back.
Yeah.
All this stuff you have to remember nowadays.
Yeah. Just to simply exist.
Yeah, and to live and try to do stuff, try to do normal stuff nowadays. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But we have reached a new segment on this show. First time debuting this game show. It is Hall of Famer or not. I will give you guys 10 musicians and bands, and you have to tell me if they're in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame or not.
Okay.
So pretty simple, pretty straightforward. I've been to the Hall of Fame in Cleveland. It is awesome. So we're going to try this. Some bands did surprise me, so I'm going to see how you guys do.
Okay.
All right, the first one is Whitney Houston.
I'm gonna go with yes.
I'm feeling a pretty strong urge to say that. That's one Bad Mama. I'm pretty sure she's in there.
100%.
Yeah.
You guys are correct.
Yeah.
She got in a few years ago. So
Okay.
right.
You don't write bangers like that and not end up, so.
Exactly. All right.
I feel like everybody on this list is gonna be like that though.
That's true. That's true.
Well, I had to make it at least a little bit. Can't make it so obvious for yes or no.
100%.
All right. Ringo Starr as a solo musician.
Ooh, you know what?
I'm gonna say no.
Yeah, just because I feel like
Yeah.
as much as as a musician, I probably shouldn't say this. Ringo, just who gives a shit, So yeah, probably not. Probably
Paul
not.
McCartney is, but Ringo's not.
I'm gonna go with no.
You are correct. It is no. He is the only Beatle not in as a solo musician.
Yeah, because I just said, who gives a shit?
Oh man. Well, if Ringo Starr ever sees this, I think he might have some words for you guys.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Bring him on, pal.
The Foo Fighters.
Foo Fighters.
Ooh.
That's
I feel like this is the Leo right here. This is the Leonardo DiCaprio. Yeah, they should fucking be in there, but they might not be.
I think yes.
Ooh.
Yeah. I'm gonna
We got a split decision here.
Yeah.
I mean, I will. I'm gonna say no. Actually, yeah. I'm gonna fight Brandon on this one and see what happens.
That's fair.
Well, you should have agreed with Brandon. They are.
They
in the
are.
Hall of Fame.
Okay. Good. It's not a Ringo thing there. I enjoy Foo Fighters. They deserve that for
Foo
sure.
Fighters kind of in the spirit of rock and roll.
Yeah, they are.
I mean,
Oh, they definitely
modern.
are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, they're incredible musicians, and for Dave Grohl, you think of Nirvana, and he was also in Foo Fighters. incredible career.
Bro, shout out to Dave Grohl for that video where he falls.
Yes. Drinks the beer.
He's like trying to pick up a beer and he falls off of his falls off stage. Yeah,
It's a
that's
spirit animal.
that's it's my omerta.
And he finished the show too.
Yeah, of course he did.
I think that was early on in the set. I think it was like 2 or 3 songs in. It was not, and I think it was like an hour and a half set. It was something crazy like that.
Yeah. Well, there's the other time he broke his leg too, or his arm or something. He hurt himself and still came back and finished the show once he got out of the hospital. So for that, I should have realized that they would be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah. Been tested.
All right, Green Day.
Green Day.
Man, this hurts because if they're not, like, I know him, Brandon and I both love some Green Day, different eras of Green Day, but I hope so. I'm going to say yes. Yeah.
I'm going to say yes as well.
Yeah, I'm going to say yes.
You are right. They are in.
Yeah.
Brandon's
All I
got
got wrong is Foo Fighters so far. Man, that makes
Brandon's
me
got
feel
a perfect
bad.
game.
Yeah, no, that's true.
Yep.
All right, Sting.
Sting. Ooh. Ooh. This is a hard one.
Yeah,
I
that's-
don't know, man.
Yeah, I have no idea. That's hard to say. Again, if he's not, personally, I think he kind of should be, but I don't know.
I'm
Fuck, that's a tough one.
gonna go with no, just because I'd be surprised.
I want to agree with Brandon because the last time I fought him, I lost. But yeah, no, he's not. We'll both say no.
Correct.
Damn.
Dude,
I don't know. I was surprised.
Yeah, you are on fire, dude.
I was surprised he wasn't in the Hall of Fame. I think he
Yeah.
should be.
I think for sure. You
That
know,
was surprising.
Bob Seger.
Like a rock.
it's the last thing I said at my dad's living funeral. Something about Bob Seger.
I didn't know that.
Prince.
Yeah. If you haven't watched the movie The Weatherman, after this, watch it. But
I'm gonna say yes just because of that.
yeah,
Sorry.
yeah, probably. I'll say he is in there. Yeah.
He is.
Jeez, man. Hey, you're killing this, dude.
I'm a beast at
You
this.
are a beast.
All right, how about Thin Lizzy?
Ooh, no, I don't think so.
No.
I don't think so.
Very quick answer, but you're correct. They're not. They did get nominated last year, but they are not in.
Really? Who decides this stuff?
It's a bunch of politics and money.
Yeah. Fair enough. Fair enough. Like anything else.
Yeah, I'm about to say anything else that like congratulates you. It's all someone else's agenda.
All right, Alice Cooper.
Alice Cooper.
Mm.
I don't know. I don't know. What do you think? I'm gonna say yes.
Yeah, I'm gonna say yes. Yeah.
It took him 8 years, but he is in.
Okay. Yeah.
Public Enemy.
Oh.
Oh, God, I would hope so. I mean, fucking nobody else wrote "Bring the Noise," but probably not, right? Because they're.
I mean, I'm gonna defer to your knowledge on this subject here.
I want them to be, so I'm gonna say yes, but probably not.
Ooh, which one are you going with?
Yes, too. Just
Yeah, we'll go with yes. We'll go with yes.
throw my perfect.
You're right.
Oh,
Okay. Damn. Okay. Good.
All right, last one. Brandon's got a perfect game right now. It is Jane's Addiction.
Jane's Addiction.
Yeah, I'm referring to you on this one, pal. That's that is up your alley.
My perfect game is going to come to an end here. I'm gonna say no, just because I'd be surprised if they are.
Yeah, I'll
With everybody that's not in there.
I'll agree with that.
You're correct.
Oh,
Correct.
dude.
They are not in.
Fucking dude, good shit.
That's what I'm talking about, baby.
That's it. Brandon, perfect game.
Perfect game. First one to ever get a perfect game for any of the game shows I have played. It's all made up and the points don't matter. but you are the first person to get a perfect game.
I like that. What is that?
Drink to that.
That's whose line is it anyway?
Yes.
That was very good. Very clever, my friend.
Thank you. Hey, I try to be. That's why I'm a host of a show. You have to come up. You have to be creative.
Yeah, for sure.
or 90s callbacks. Either one.
That's same thing. Yeah.
All right. That's done. It almost hit me in the face.
That was impressive. I stand by what I said about Ringo, but that really was impressive. that you got every single one.
Yeah, well, you might get a call from Ringo at some point.
I think the more defensive I am about it, Brandon gets nervous, so I'm just going to say, whatever happens, happens.
That's fair.
I'll see you on the battlefield, Ringo.
You have to keep in mind he's an old man. He's
Exactly.
Older gentleman now.
Just go for the knees,
If you want to have a street battle, Ringo.
Yeah.
Now we're talking about Street Fighting Ringo Starr. This is awesome.
Yeah.
All right. As we're wrapping up this interview, before we talk about hurting Ringo anymore, what are the plans for Dear Desolate for the rest of this year? I know 2020 just started. What's kind of your plans for this year?
Well, I think we're trying our best to be more consistent with releasing music and making sure that we're putting out as much music as we possibly can, as quickly as we can, everything like that. I think at this point in the game, everybody knows that it takes a minute to make sure that all your ducks are in a row.
Yeah.
I would like to say that maybe, certain stipulations and restrictions pending, that we might be able to do a small run this year with some bands that we're friends with, maybe from the area, some dudes that are kind of up and coming and, making stuff happen. I would love to do that. I would love to, kind of get back to like our roots, just playing shows and having fun, doing whatever we want. So that would be for me personally, that would be, I think, kind of the goal sheet, is just like put out as much music as possible, almost annoy people with it, like borderline. You get on Facebook and instead of reading about NFTs, you're reading about us. Like, that's how in your face I want it to be. And I know that the rest of us are all kind of on the same page. I know Brandon can talk for himself, obviously, but he's been expanding very hard as far as like content creating, like filming, editing, stuff like that. So I'm really excited to kind of be in the passenger seat with all that, coming, like, moving forward. Silhouettes and Voyager both shot by this guy, though there was no outsourcing there. So just kind of becoming this like ultimate Megatron DIY machine, I think, is what that's the goals for me personally. I think everybody else in the band would agree.
Yeah. I think that just kind of hits it on the head. I mean, like, all of us, singularly have specific goals to one another, but I think the group umbrella is just to, release banger after banger this year until it really, catches on. So,
well, I like those goals, definitely. Hope everything works out for you guys. Obviously, there's the possibility of touring and stuff like that. But if anyone hasn't checked out Silhouettes, definitely do so. I highly recommend it.
Listen to this man. Listen to those words he's saying right now. If you haven't listened to Silhouettes, you're going to become Ringo to me. Like, just go do it real quick. It's like a 3-minute song. It takes no time.
Yeah.
It goes by like that.
You can get back into Starbucks.
Right, exactly.
And you don't want to be Ringo. You don't want to be Ringo.
Yeah.
At least in that analogy. I don't know about him now, but I don't know.
Yeah. Who's to say that Ringo in real life wouldn't be listening to Silhouettes?
I would call out Ringo. Ringo should listen to Silhouettes. And maybe, like, if he posts, like, a drum cover of it or something, maybe he'll get in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Who knows? I'm just spitballing here, just,
I like that. Ringo, You should listen to Silhouettes, my man. Come on.
Dude. Throw up a drum cover of it. Let me see it. Let me see it.
And honestly, if he ever does do that, oh man, dude, I lose my mind.
Dude, if it ever does happen, you have like the birth of the conspiracy of the idea here, like in your archives.
I'm gonna be wearing a tinfoil hat.
Yeah,
here on out.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm all right with being the originator of all this mayhem and chaos and whatever kind of insanity we're talking about with Ringo Starr. I didn't expect to talk about him in this interview, but here we are.
I didn't either, honestly. But when his name came up, I felt the need to be honest.
Well, I appreciate the honesty. There's a reason he's not in the Hall of Fame. I'm just saying.
Exactly. All of his friends are. You said McCartney for sure is.
Yeah.
The other three definitely are. They are.
Okay. Yeah. So I don't know.
He's slacking.
Yeah. He's just not that much of a go-getter,
Yeah, I mean, maybe he just doesn't care. And if that's the case, then that's badass. Like, if you were offered to be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, you're just like, nah, fuck that. I'm Ringo. That's cool, but I doubt it.
I wish that would just be his letter if, like, they offered him. Like, nah, I'm Ringo.
Yeah, no.
Good on it.
Good on it. No Rock and Roll Hall of Fame for me. Don't want to hang out with Whitney Houston and Dave Grohl. Too good for it.
And Green Day and Alice Cooper and all that.
Yeah.
Maybe it's with Sting. Maybe it's Ringo and Sting. They're like, you know what? We're good.
I am surprised that Sting's not in it.
Yeah, that bothers me a little bit, but fuck, Mike. What can I do?
Nothing.
Nothing. I like this guy. He answers my questions with real answers. You cannot do anything.
Yep. Hey, I keep it 100 here on Super Radio.
Yeah.
All right. As we're wrapping up this interview, if anyone's curious, where can they check out Dear Desolate online?
Everywhere.
Yeah.
DearDesolate.com is kind of our,
That's our hub.
Yeah,
That's our
you can
main
find
portal.
us on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok,
Apple Music, Spotify,
everywhere.
even some of the weird ones that I feel like nobody fucking uses, like Deezer and Tidal and
Pandora?
all these other ones. We have put eggs in all the nests.
Yeah.
Are you on Napster?
No, because that guy's kind of a prick too. But
I didn't know they were still around.
I think we are on the fucking, what is it called? It's like Rhapsody or something, which was like a spin. I can't remember, but we are everywhere. If you really don't have to look hard at all.
Yeah.
And DearDesolate.com is the best place because it will take you wherever you want to go. If you want to buy a shirt, if you want to just read our stupid bio, if you want to learn how to play our songs, if you want to listen to our songs, it's all on one website that is very easy to remember. So
I'm going to drop some links in the description as well, so make sure to check that out after this video concludes. Make sure to check out the links and, hit up Ringo Starr, because that's the thing to do nowadays.
Yes. Pressure this man.
Oh, man. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me here on Super Cool Radio. I had a fun time chatting with you, talking about all things Dear Desolate, Silhouettes, and Ringo Starr. Make sure to check them out. As I said, links in the description. For Dear Desolate, I am Matthew Thomas, the host of Super Cool Radio. Thank you so much for watching and listening. Stay frosty.
See y'all.
Peace.